Most people don't actually want a better life. They want the feeling of wanting one. They enjoy the illusion of ambition more than the reality of discipline. Wanting feels safe. Doing feels threatening. Because doing removes excuses, and excuses are the last thing protecting their ego. The truth is simple and brutal. Most people are exactly where they belong, not because they are stupid, not because they are unlucky, but because their daily choices quietly vote against the life they claim to want. People like to say they're trying, but trying is what you say when you don't intend to change your behavior. Trying is emotional language, not behavioral language. The brain uses it to avoid responsibility. Real change has no emotional vocabulary. It only has actions, repeated actions, uncomfortable actions, boring actions. And that's exactly why most people will never change. They are addicted to stimulation, not progress. They chase feelings, not outcomes. Comfort is not harmless. It is slow poison. It doesn't destroy you violently, it sedates you. It keeps you calm while years pass. It whispers, "Tomorrow is fine. You deserve rest. There's time." And most people listen, because comfort never asks for courage. Discipline does. Discipline demands silence, repetition, sacrifice, with no guarantee of reward. That's a price most people are not willing to pay. People say they're afraid of failure. They're not. They're afraid of effort without validation. They're afraid of doing the work and still being ordinary. So they avoid the work entirely and protect their identity with excuses. If you never truly commit, you never truly fail. That psychological trick keeps millions trapped in average lives they secretly resent. Most people build their lives around mood. If they feel good, they act. If they feel bad, they wait. But moods are unstable. They change daily. A life built on mood is a life without structure. Structure is boring. Structure is repetitive. Structure doesn't care how you feel. And because of that, structure is powerful. People who rely on emotion feel alive. People who rely on structure become dangerous. The uncomfortable reality is this: the world does not reward potential. It does not reward intention. It does not reward intelligence. It rewards reliability. The person who shows up when tired will outperform the person who shows up when inspired. Every time. Over long enough timelines, discipline humiliates talent. Consistency humiliates motivation. Quiet repetition humiliates loud ambition. Most people talk too much. They announce goals to feel progress without earning it. The brain releases dopamine when plans are spoken, not when they are executed. Talking becomes a substitute for action. That's why so many people feel busy yet go nowhere. Movement is not progress. Repetition is. And repetition feels empty until it works. That emptiness is where most people quit. People like to blame systems, governance, economies, childhoods. Those things matter, but not as much as people pretend. Blame gives emotional relief. Responsibility gives control. Most people choose relief. Control is heavy. Control removes the fantasy that someone else will fix it. Once you accept responsibility, there is nowhere left to hide. And most people don't want that level of exposure. Discipline is lonely, because it separates you from people who live emotionally. When you stop complaining, stop negotiating, stop explaining yourself, you become unfamiliar. People around you feel uncomfortable, not because you changed them, but because you changed yourself. Change creates contrast. Contrast creates tension. Most people will sacrifice growth to preserve belonging. The harshest truth is this: most people don't fail. They simply never commit long enough to succeed. They quit during the quiet phase, when effort produces no applause, when progress is internal, when identity is being rebuilt silently. That phase feels pointless, it feels empty, and that emptiness scares people more than failure ever could. Time is indifferent. It does not care about your intentions. It does not pause for your doubts. It will pass whether you discipline yourself or not. Years from now, most people will still be explaining why they didn't start, still waiting for motivation, still protecting comfort, still wondering why nothing changed. There is no moment where life suddenly becomes easier. There is only the moment you stop asking how you feel and start acting regardless. Most people will never reach that moment, not because they can't, but because they won't. They will trade potential for comfort, control for excuses, freedom for familiarity, and then they will call it fate. The world doesn't need more motivated people. It needs fewer undisciplined ones. Most people reading this will feel attacked, not enlightened, because truth doesn't inspire, it exposes, and exposure is uncomfortable. That discomfort is the doorway. Most people turn away. A few step through. The difference between them is not talent, not luck, not intelligence. It is the willingness to live without emotional permission.